Tennis is not about power, it's about control, angles, and how well you think when the ball moves faster than your brain wants it to. Every shot is a setup for the next one, every step a calculation of space. The players who dominate don't guess. They guide rallies like engineers, shaping pressure with purpose. What separates a top player from everyone else isn't luck or emotion, it's pattern control. These are the tactics hidden behind quiet focus and precise footwork. The details that make tennis less of a reaction game and more of a system of control. Cross-court rule. Most professionals hit diagonally across the court far more often than straight. Over 60% of baseline shots at the highest level travel cross-court, not down the line. That single habit explains why professional rallies flow the way they do. Long, consistent, and full of margin. The logic behind this is simple geometry. The court is longer on the diagonal, so a cross-court shot gives more space to hit into. It also passes over the lowest part of the net. The middle is roughly 3 feet high. The edges near the post climb to 3.5. That half-foot difference may not sound like much, but over thousands of shots, it means far fewer errors. Professionals play the odds. They use the longer distance and lower net to raise consistency. Hitting down the line is riskier because it shortens the target zone and raises the net clearance point. That's why the cross-court rally dominates modern tennis. But the hidden advantage lies in positioning. After a player hits cross-court, they don't return to the exact middle. They recover about half a meter toward the side they just played to. This tiny shift is not random. It places them at equal distance between two predictable replies, the short angle cross-court or the opponent's down the line counter. Standing perfectly in the middle would actually be the wrong move. It leaves a player too far from the short angle. You can see this clearly if you watch slow motion footage of any rally. The hitter moves slightly toward the same wing they used, ready to cover both responses. The movement is automatic and balanced. It's why professionals often appear to glide back into position without rushing. Their math is already done before the ball even lands. For recreational players, this principle alone changes everything. Many try to play bold down-the-line shots because they look aggressive, but they sacrifice safety and lose positioning time. Weakness hunter. Every player on tour knows exactly where their opponent struggles. Before a match, teams study data on where each player misses most and under what conditions. Once they step on court, they execute that plan like a blueprint. The most common target is the backhand. Across every level of tennis, from beginner to professional, most players hit more confidently on their forehand side. So professionals use the first few games to test patterns, heavy shots, short angles, deep balls, and find which combination hurts most. Once they identify the weak spot, they attack it until it breaks. But it's not just about pounding the same direction over and over. That's where average players misunderstand the tactic. The goal isn't repetition, it's variation around the weakness. Professionals use spin, height, and depth to pull the same side into different kinds of discomfort. Rafael Nadal's matches against Roger Federer on grass show this perfectly. Nadal sent more than 60% of his rallies toward Federer's backhand, but he never hit the same ball twice. Some were deep and high, others short and angled, each forcing Federer to hit backhands from different heights and court positions. This is tactical layering, hitting to the same side in multiple ways to destroy rhythm. Once the opponent starts adjusting their stance or grip, they lose speed and timing. Novak Djokovic often takes this further. He locks into a backhand cross-court exchange, then suddenly redirects the same pattern down the line, catching the opponent leaning the wrong way. When done correctly, the opponent looks slower and less confident with every exchange, even though their physical skill hasn't changed. The damage happens mentally. They know the ball is coming again to the side they least want to see. Geometry of position. The center of the court is rarely the right place to stand. Professionals position themselves based on shot probability, not symmetry. Every shot creates a triangle of possible replies. If you hit cross-court to your opponent's forehand, they can respond with a shorter cross-court angle or a straight down the line ball. The key is to stand where both options are reachable in equal time. That position is usually half a meter toward the side you last played to. The same adjustment mentioned earlier. This isn't guesswork. It's simple geometric mapping. From that offset spot, you're covering both most likely responses with minimal running. From the exact middle, you'd need extra steps to reach the sharp cross-court reply. When a rally pulls wide, the same principle applies on a larger scale. If you stretch a rival far outside the singles line with a sharp cross-court, you've created an open court. Sometimes that open lane is 15 feet wide. Professionals know this instantly and plan their next strike before the opponent even contacts the ball. This is why positioning is not about speed. It's about efficiency. Many club players chase balls instead of predicting space. Direction switch, now comes the rare but dramatic part, changing direction. Players break the cross-court rule for only a few reasons, and each reason connects to control, not impulse. The first reason is to expose poor movers. Some players look fine when stationary but struggle the moment they must change direction. Against them, the direction switch becomes a weapon. Every shift forces extra adjustment steps, and every adjustment opens a chance for error. Professionals identify this weakness early and keep rotating the pattern until movement fatigue sets in. The second reason is tactical reset. Matteo Berrettini often uses this with his backhand slice. By slicing down the line to his opponent's backhand, he flips the pattern. The opponent must now feed into his heavy forehand, which gives him control of the rally again. But this move only works when executed correctly. The slice must be deep, high, and spinning enough to give time for recovery. Hitting it flat and fast is a mistake because it leaves no time to reposition to the new geometry. Professionals trade speed for time when switching sides. The third reason is attack. When an opponent is pulled wide and leaves open space, the down-the-line shot becomes the finisher. But this move has strict timing. The player must strike early, while the opponent is still off balance and before they recover toward the middle. Waiting even a moment too long gives the defender enough time to close the gap. That's why top players practice taking balls on the rise. It's not just about aggression, it's about time theft. Hitting early steals recovery time from the opponent while keeping yourself ready for the next shot. It turns small openings into winning chances. When this is done well, the down-the-line ball does double duty. It scores outright winners and also sets up the next short ball, because the opponent, forced into defense, can only reply cross-court from a weak position. The attacker then steps inside and finishes, the time thief. The difference between good tennis and world-class tennis is not power, it's time. The best players in the world constantly play with time. Sometimes they steal it from their opponent, other times they buy it for themselves. It's not visible unless you know what to look for. There are two main time strategies that shape modern tennis. The first is buying time through heavy topspin. When a player hits with extreme spin, the ball jumps higher and pushes the opponent backward. Each meter the opponent moves back adds an extra fraction of a second for recovery. That extra moment is what allows professionals to reset the position, prepare their next move, or plan a sudden direction change. Topspin is not only about height or safety, it's about control of time and space. A ball that lifts deep into the court forces a slower contact point and a higher bounce, both of which interrupt the opponent's rhythm. It also gives the hitter time to reposition or step forward for the next ball. The second strategy is stealing time by taking the ball early. When a player hits on the rise, the ball meets the racket before it reaches its highest point. That means it comes back faster, cutting the opponent's preparation window almost in half. The rally feels faster even if the ball's speed is the same. This constant pressure pushes the opponent to hit shorter, lower quality shots. Players like Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz use this blend of early timing and topspin control to dominate. One rally might include both extremes, a heavy topspin forehand to push the rival back, followed by an early backhand taken on the rise to rush them. The rhythm constantly shifts. It feels unpredictable, but is actually highly controlled. Recreational players often misunderstand this. They try to hit harder to end points faster, thinking power equals pressure. But raw speed is useless if it gives the opponent more time to react. Professionals care more about when the ball arrives, not just how fast it travels. And there's also a third layer, time variation as disruption. Some players prefer quick exchanges, others play better when rallies stretch longer. Professionals identify this preference early and use time itself as a weapon. Against fast hitters, they slow down play with looping, high shots. Against slower rhythm players, they speed things up with flat early hits. Mental combat. Every tennis point has two levels, the visible physical exchange and the invisible mental one. Professionals spend entire matches influencing how their opponent feels, reacts, and thinks without a word being spoken. The first rule of this mental game is to never reveal weakness. When a player misses an easy shot, they may feel frustration, but they do not show it. They keep their body upright, eyes forward, and routine steady. It sends a message. Nothing has changed. This is psychological insulation. The opponent can't read cracks or feed off energy. The second rule is selective aggression. Professionals choose their emotional moments carefully. A sudden shout, a pumped fist, or an intense stare isn't random. It's time to shift energy at a key point. Those bursts change the atmosphere of the match. Body language is one of the strongest unspoken tactics in tennis. A confident walk back to the baseline can carry as much power as an ace. Players know their opponent is watching every move. Some take it further by using targeted patience, hitting an opponent's strength early to build false confidence, then switching to the weakness later. It makes the opponent believe they found rhythm, only to lose it when the pattern flips. The mental side also involves rhythm deception. A player might alternate slow rallies with sudden bursts of speed, forcing constant recalibration. It's mentally exhausting to keep adapting when no two rallies feel alike. Nadal, Djokovic, and Alcaraz all excel here, though in different ways. Nadal controls time and ritual. Djokovic manipulates tempo and body language. Alcaraz blends unpredictability and joy, using energy itself as a tactic. Each of them treats pressure like a weapon, not an obstacle. Pressure moments reveal the difference between mechanical skill and real match control. Professionals see pressure as an extension of strategy. They prepare mental routines for it. Some bounce the ball extra times, others take deep breaths, others stare at the strings to reset focus. These tiny rituals prevent panic and keep reactions automatic. Tactical patience. Professionals often use patience as bait. They'll rally safely to the same side multiple times, waiting for the opponent to get comfortable. Once the pattern feels predictable, they break it with a sharp change of direction or a sudden drop shot. The entire setup is psychological, conditioning followed by surprise. This is what makes modern tennis so layered. Every consistent rally may hide a trap. That's why elite players watch body language as much as ball trajectory. The instant an opponent leans or cheats toward one side, the trap is sprung. Closing. Every professional match is a map of these secrets in motion. Geometry defines where to stand. Time defines how to react. Mind control defines who breaks first. From the first cross-court rally to the last pressured point, tennis remains a sport of exact thinking disguised as instinct. Understand these layers and you'll see why the best players make chaos look simple. And if this breakdown gave you new insight, stay tuned for the next deep dive, because the real strategy of tennis doesn't end here. It evolves with every point played.